I hope you have found that as helpful as I did. Our next guest complements some of the ideas of Oshifuye in many ways. His book, titled The Goldmine of Your Mind, is inspiring and full of insights on what it takes to succeed in life. Its central theme is that our greatest weapon or resource is our mind, and how we develop and use it will determine how we fare. Ayo Olarewaju, the book's author, joined us to review it. Please enjoy this. Ayo, thank you for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you, Kunle, for having me.
Nice having you here. I enjoyed reading your book, The Goldmine of Your Mind. let me read something you've written here.
Okay.
My observation of the world is that people place unbelievable value on resources. It is the easy excuse not to do something we know we should do. Resources are our scapegoats. It is to blame if we don't achieve or we don't meet our targets or we do not pass the exam. You get the idea. The list is endless. My observation is that there is more treasure in the depth of human mind than we can ever find under the ground. That's very relevant. In a country where a lot of emphasis is placed on natural resources.
Yeah.
You are saying here that the human mind is more important.
Let me give you an example. You know, as we know, natural resources, we've been exploiting it from the beginning of time. We still exploit it till the end of time. It's probably, we can't exhaust it. But let me give you an example. Apple, as a company, they are now worth $700 billion.
$700 billion.
$700 billion. And that company was on the verge of collapsing when they invited Steve Jobs back, if you remember. Now imagine a company on the brink of collapse and somebody came around, who understood the powers of his mind and turned it around. We're trying to borrow 30 billion and we're killing and crushing ourselves.
Which is one of the things you said here.
Yeah, in the book, because I've heard that a lot, I devoted a chapter to how to raise money for either your business or any other idea.
Very
for
interesting
that matter.
chapter, yeah?
Yeah, so that's why I put it there. If you're an aspiring entrepreneur and you're wondering, you don't blame people because they have limited ideas, but our job is to show them the way and say, okay, do the step A to step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You just follow mechanically like that and you get it done.
One of the things, in line with that, one of the things you said here is that the power of the idea, not using your exact words, but I picked that one up here, that the power of the idea for a business is much more powerful than the limitations the person has. Oh, I don't have money. Oh, I don't have experience. Oh, I don't have this. Did I get that right?
Yeah. That's absolutely right, Kunle. You see, idea is like a seed, right? If you plant an oak tree seed and come back in 100 years, it's as massive as anything. So is idea. Let me give you an example. Then your idea, no matter how small, if you start acting on it, I also have a chapter there on momentum. If you have an idea, the first thing you do is schedule 5 actions you need to take about that idea in the next 1 week. You'll build so much momentum that you won't be able to stop yourself. Ideas are like that. You create the idea, but it gets bigger and bigger, and sometimes it outlives you.
Much bigger than you.
Yeah.
Okay, and let me read something else. Pardon me, please. There is more to life and the universe than meets the eyes, literally.
Yeah.
It's very powerful. Yeah. You are most likely familiar with the phrase, seeing is believing.
It's wrong.
Everybody talks about seeing is believing. Yeah? This is a very simplistic way of looking at the world. There are so many unseen powers influencing our lives daily. And whether we recognize it or not, whether we believe it or not, these unseen powers affect our lives. Reading through here, you were basically trying to say that you don't need to see You were talking about people conceiving things in their minds, dreams. They want to build a company or build a business or do something big with their lives. That they have to first of all believe what they've seen in their minds before it becomes physical. Is that what you're trying to say here?
Yeah, and also the seeing. You see, the concept of visualization. If you're familiar with the concept of visualization, is if you have an idea, think through how you can take the idea from beginning to getting it as big as you can in your imagination. First. And do that over a period of time. You see, athletes, they train for 4 years, to go to the Olympics. What most coaches teach them is that they should visualize themselves winning. And there is also a method to that visualization, which is also in this book, is that you should visualize associated with that winning. If you visualizing yourself building a big company and all of that, and you are distant, you're separated from it, that's not effective visualization. Visualization, you should be part of it. They call it subjective and objective.
So you see it in your mind, basically.
You see it in your mind.
You gave an example, the former Arsenal goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Lehmann. Yeah. When he was brought back into Arsenal by Arsene Wenger. Yes. And that he performed very well in that particular match. And they asked him what made you perform so well? You know, and instead of him talking about hard work and being diligent and all that, you wrote here that he spoke about how he envisioned that performance.
He remembered his
past performance.
His last good performance, and he visualized it, and it was fantastic on the day. It was absolutely fantastic.
I've read a lot about many athletes, superstar athletes, who use that particular method in performance. Muhammad Ali was an example.
Absolutely.
Who kept telling the world that he was the world champion before he took the title.
And when he took the title, he said, I've seen it over and over and over again. I just came here to pick it up in real life.
Wow. This is very powerful. It looks like pop psychology. But I think it's very powerful. I read about Walt Disney, after he had died. They didn't build Disney until after he had died, according to what I read. And that his wife was somewhere looking, at Disneyland, and somebody said, he wished Walt was there to see it. And then she told the person that he actually saw it before he died. He had envisioned it. And I found that to be very powerful. And that seems to be something you say here consistently in this book.
The reason why it is powerful is, let me tell you, because of our upbringing, most people are raised in not very affluent homes. So the way we learn our beliefs is the way we learn to walk, is the way we learn to talk. If you don't take yourself away from your circumstances and actually place yourself where you want to be in your imagination, it is pretty difficult to do it because your mind will trip you up all the time. Because if you imagine yourself owning a 25-story building, what your mind will scream to you is, no, you can't do it. So if you make an attempt to do it, it will sabotage that. If you add self-sabotage, that's what it is. Because you need to believe that you are capable of achieving those dreams and visualize it in your mind before you can actually take the actions. The actions is much easier if you already believe.
Fantastic, Ayo. So many things to talk about. The opportunity to grow, the gift of crisis, goal setting, confidence, determination. But we don't have time to look at everything. Thank you very much for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well done. Let me start digging into the gold mine
of your mind.
Of my mind.
And your mind is a gold mine. Use it.
Thank you. Nice to have you on the show.
All right. Thank you.
Well, I hope you have enjoyed today's show. As usual, we'll be happy to hear from you through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. I am Olakunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.